Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tappingflamingo. Today we are going to do some crocheting with wire and beads. Back in July of 2015, which is over 6 years ago, when I had no idea what I was doing when it came to doing YouTube videos, I did a video on crocheting some beads and wire into a really cool necklace. And that is my most popular video even to this day. If you want to laugh, go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description box for you to do that. But today I'm going to actually redo that. And I'm a little bummed. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Seems like the last time I did this I had computer issues. But for some reason it's very foggy and hoping that it will clear up a little bit. So I want to apologize about that in advance. So what you're going to need for this project is wire, and this is 24 gauge. You're going to need to have 24 gauge because we are going to actually be crocheting with it, and you need something that's not too thin but yet thin enough that it's easy to manipulate with a crochet hook, which you're going to need. This particular crochet hook I have is a size G, and it doesn't really matter what size. I do feel that this is a good size to work with. I do have a tiny one, and it's not as easy to work with, but you know, like I said, it doesn't really make that much difference, the size, and you'll see why here in a little bit. Of course, you need your assortment of beads, and I'll get into that just a second. But you're going to need some round nose pliers, some wire cutters, and some flat nose pliers. And you're going to need 2 beads that have some pretty good size holes in them. And then just an assortment of beads that you like. I am using, these are probably, I'm trying to think, 4mm to 6mm is a good size for you to use. You could use bigger size beads, but they're not going to lay as nicely. And if you get too small, they're not going to lay as nicely. You could use E-beads. I have done that before too. These beads actually came from Bargain Bead Box back in September of 2021. I think it was September. And I am just using a variety of beads from that subscription. These are just little stone beads. I think they're dyed halite. And then we've got some crystals. Got to have some bling. And then I have some glass beads that look like tiger eye. And you could do this one of 3 ways. You could have 3 strands of different beads, or I'm actually going to mix them on my strands. So what are strands? Let's get to that. As I've said before in some of my videos, whenever I work with wire, whenever possible, I like to keep it on the spool. I tend to use less wire that way, so that's what I'm going to be doing this time. And I'm going to need to make 3 of these strands that I'm fixing to show you how to make. The first thing you need to do is string up your beads in the order you want them. And I'm just going to do every other one. I'm going to start with the glass bead. And then I'll put a crystal. And then I'll do the halite bead and the other crystal and just keep stringing them on that way. You'll need to count 14 beads this way. See, just basically every other bead. Like I said, you can do all the same beads if you want. Now I know I told you 14 beads. I'm actually going to do 15 beads on this one. Just because I wanted to begin and end with a bead that's not a crystal. just because I like the look of that. So I said 14 beads, but you can do more or less depending on what suits your taste. Now the next thing we're going to do is crochet. And I'm not here to teach you to crochet. In fact, this is pretty much just a demonstration. But those of you who crochet, we're going to be doing a chain stitch. That's all it is. Those of you who do not know what that is, my suggestion is to go and look at YouTube on how to do a basic chain stitch. It's actually very easy. And once you've got that down, come back and do this. So I've measured about 10 inches, maybe 8 inches. You just need a little bit to work with at the end. And I made a loop. I pulled it through the hole there like you would when you're crocheting a chain stitch. And then I'm just going to start doing a chain stitch. And they're not going to look uniform. This is wire, and it's going to look very organic. And you're going to do this 14 times. So that's 2, 3, 4. Anyway, you're going to do that 14 times. So once you've crocheted 14 chain stitches, this is when you're going to start bringing your beads down. You're going to bring one down at a time, crochet 2 chain stitches, bring the next one down, 2 chain stitches, and so forth. Remember, this is very organic, and it is tough on the hands. I have carpal tunnel and trigger fingers and thumbs, and I've had all that kind of work done on my hands. And this is pretty rough on my hands. I'm hoping I don't break my nails. I am a nail picker biter, and this is the longest they've ever been. So I'm hoping they survive this. But I just wanted to warn you about that before we go on. So like I said, you're going to bring a bead down, and you're going to chain stitch twice. Bring a bead down. Whoops. Chain stitch twice. And just continue to do that. So I've got 14, then I brought the bead up, chain 2, bead up, chain 2, so forth, so I ran out of beads. Now I need to do 14, just like I did over here, 14 chain stitches. Now I need to cut off the same amount of wire on this side as I did the other side. So it doesn't have to be exact, I just kind of estimate it there. Pull the wire through. We've got strand 1 of 3 that we have to do. So I'm going to do 2 more of these, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. So I have them all crocheted. One thing you need to remember, those of you who are perfectionists, this is not going to look perfected, but that's okay. That's actually what we want. We kind of want it to look organic. And once we get, we're going to actually braid these together. So once they're braided together, it's going to look really cool. Let me show you one that I've done. And I've had this for years. And I love the way it hangs. It's kind of molded to how I wear it now. It's molded to my neck area there where I wear this. And eventually your necklace will do the same thing. Isn't that pretty cool? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sort of kind of line them up where the crochet hoops are, like that. And then you're just going to twist all these legs here just a little bit, just so they're, just kind of make them one. And then you're going to take your bead, your big bead with the big hole, and you're going to put it down like that. That's why you need a big hole. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make a loop to hang your clasp on. I haven't really figured out what kind of clasp I'm going to hang on this yet. So I'm going to go ahead and make my loop. Now, if you know what kind of clasp you want, I would say go ahead and put your clasp on while we're doing this. But it's just basically making a loop and taking all your wire and wrapping it around here. And I like to wrap it big. So wrap it as many times as you want. Once you've got the look you want, just clip off the excess, and then you're going to tuck your wire in underneath all that so you don't scratch your neck. So once you have all that done, you're going to braid. You've got 3 legs here, and you're just going to braid them. When you do braid them, you're kind of going to have to mess with the wire a little bit to make it lay how you want. And when you get to the other end, your wires may or may not line up exactly, but that's okay. So let me braid this, and then I'll show you what the next step is. By the way, when you get down to the point where you're braiding where the beads are, sometimes you may have to kind of adjust things a little bit to make them lay where you want. And sometimes you may take your wire and kind of flip it. Don't work too much on it because you could actually bend your wire so much that it weakens it, and then you'll break your chain here, and you don't want to do that. Personally, when I do this, I like to hold it straight up in front of my face, and which I can't show you how to do that with this, but that way I can see the beads better, how they're going to lay. So I'm at the end here, and you're just basically going to do the same thing. These are just, you treat them as one wire. You stick your big hole bead on all of them. And just like we did over here, you want to make a loop and wrap your wire around it and tuck in the ends. So I've got it all done. I just put a simple clasp on there. I may actually change this out, but I wanted to get this done so y'all could see what it looked like. I've been kind of molding it a little bit. Once I start wearing it, it will mold to, like I said, it'll mold to my neck area a little bit better, just like this one did, and kind of flatten out, give it a little bit of character. But I'm not going to lie, these these aren't exactly the easiest things to do, but they're really not that difficult either. I would put this at maybe an intermediate level of jewelry making. So let me know what you think. By the way, my nails survived this project. I'm very happy about that. Have you ever crocheted wire? Let me know down in the comments below what your experience has been with crocheted jewelry. I'd love it if you gave me a thumbs up. Mostly though, I hope y'all have a fantastically wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.